Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Chana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janarandana. Yashoda Nandana Vraja Janarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. So, sieht aus, als müsste ich Englisch sprechen, hm? Looks like I have to speak in English. So, yes, so everyone is comfortable with English? Everyone is not comfortable with German? No? So? Okay, what to do? So, wer versteht kein Englisch? Ja, Kishore kommt. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, entitled Decoration of the Fourth Order, Chapter 11, Svayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj. Text 30. Oh, there's a complete different chapter. 12. Wrong. 12th chapter. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Text 1. So, next one. Here. Okay. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya Uvacha. Dhruvam nivritam pratibhudya vaishasat. Dhruvam nivritam pratibhudya vaishasat. Apetamanyung Bhagavan Dhaneshwaraha. Apetamanyung Bhagavan Dhaneshwaraha. Tatragatas charana yaksha kinnarai. Tatragatas charana yaksha kinnarai. Sangstu yamano nyavadat kritanjalim. Sangstu yamano nyavadat kritanjalim. Yes, please. Matajis. Dhruvam nivritam pratibhudya vaishasat. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Dhruva Maharaj, Nivritam, ceased, Pratibudya, having learned, Vaishasat, from killing, Apeta, subsided, Manyum, anger, Bhagavan, Kuvera, Dhana Ishvaraha, master of the treasury, Tatra, there, Agataha, appeared, Charana, by the Charanas, Yaksha, Yakshas, Kinnarai, and by the Kinnaras, Sangstuyamanaha, being worshipped, Nyavadat, spoke, Krita Anjalim, to Dhruva with folded hands. Translation. The great sage Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, Dhruva Maharaj's anger subsided, and he completely ceased killing yakshas. When Kuvera, the most blessed master of the treasury, learned this news, he appeared before Dhruva. While being worshipped by yakshas, kinnaras, and charanas, he spoke to Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. Text 2. Dhanada uvacha bhubhu kshatriya dayada paritushto smitenga paritushta smitenaga yat tvang pitamahadeshat vairam dustyacham atyachaha. The master of the treasury, Kuvera, said, O sinless son of a kshatriya, I am very glad to know that under the instruction of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity, although it is very difficult to avoid. I am very pleased with you. Text 3. Na bhavan na vadid yakshan, na yaksha pratarantava, kala eva hi bhutanang prabhur apyapya bhavayoho. Actually, you have not killed the yakshas, nor have they killed your brother. For the ultimate cause of generation annihilation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord. Purport. When the master of the treasury addressed him as sinless, Dhruva Maharaj considered himself responsible for killing so many yakshas, and might have thought himself otherwise. Kuvera, however, assured him that factually he had not killed any of the yakshas. Therefore, he was not at all sinful. He did his duty as a king, as it is ordered by the laws of nature. Nor should you think that your brother was killed by the yakshas, said Kuvera. He died or was killed in due course of time by the laws of nature. Eternal time, one of the features of the Lord, is ultimately responsible for annihilation and generation. You are not responsible for such actions. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakramilitam Dina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bhangung Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamang Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Shri Chaitanya-manopistam Stapitam Dina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadhamayam Dadati Swavadantikam Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, after Dhruva Maharaj killed the yakshas, he was in a fierce fight with these tribal personalities. But they are not just tribal, they are kind of mystical living entities. And Dhruva Maharaj was a very powerful warrior, and he killed them like anything, single-handedly. That shows the power of Dhruva Maharaj, that he single-handedly killed all these yakshas. They could not stand him. And even though they made some illusions which were very, very terrible, he even overcame that. He was not swayed by all these illusions. So the first thing, of course, it might be very fearing, or troublesome if you stand in front of such an army and you have to fight them. Of course, he's a kshatriya, right? Kshatriyas are not afraid. We are afraid if we have to fight, or if to fight many warriors or something. We will run away. We should run away, actually. Actually, that's advised when you get into a dangerous situation of a fight or something. First thing you should do is actually run away. That's actually advised best. Because everything else, you might win, you might lose, you might have a knife, this and that, you never know. better just run away. Cowardly. But save yourself, and save your responsibility to those to your dependents. But sometimes, they don't want to run away and they want to, show off. No, you cannot treat me like this. Okay, let's fight. And then one loses and some gets hurt or even killed or something. So, but Dhruva Maharaj, of course, he's a fighter. So for him, his duty is to fight. And he was, as it said here also, it was his duty to fight. The Kshatriya has to fight. The Kshatriya means the one who protects the others. He does not protect himself, he protects the others. So he had to fight these yakshas. So he defeated them. They had some mystical powers. They create huge illusions. And at one point when Dhruva was overpowering them, defeating them, they resorted to some unfair means and created huge illusions, and many terrible things appeared in the sky, and it was very fearsome. But he stood his grounds, and the illusions went away, and he kept on fighting and defeated them. But at one point, as we know, it was simply too much. They are like, they were already done, but he kept on going. He was in the rage. He was still shooting arrows and fighting them, and they were already defeated. And at that situation, Manu came and advised him not to fight. And then he accepted, so it's a very important point, Dhruva Maharaj accepted the advice of the elder, his authority. And because of this, Kuvera now comes. Kuvera appears on the scene. So Kuvera, or before I speak about Kuvera, the point is also very important that we listen to authorities. It's very difficult to listen to authorities. Because our ego, we don't want to listen, right? But we should have some authorities in life, someone who is guiding us, who can help us. And when they give us good advice, which is, authorities means good authorities, and they give us advice, we should consider that and we should follow that actually. So he did that. He said, okay, I stop fighting and I accept you. And because of this, Kuvera came and he was very pleased. And why was Kuvera coming? Why it was not Soma or Surya or Shiva? Or why Kuvera? Because, you want to say something? Yes, because he's the Lord of the Yakshas. We heard now. He's the Lord of the Yakshas. So he was happy that his people were not getting killed anymore. So, and he is very, very powerful also. Kuvera is a very powerful demigod. Very big and beautiful. And sometimes actually in traditional depictings, he's also depicted as a yaksha and a little bit, has a big tummy also. He's a little bit fat and rich, and there's ornaments and everything. But he's considered very, very powerful, Kuvera. And you see that also that he came with other yakshas, kinnaras and charnas, so also kind of mystical beings. They surrounded him, they were worshipping him, so he came like, in this scene with all his entourage, and he was in the center. And Dhruva Maharaj immediately also folded his hands. He said, this is Kuvera. Yes, okay. Hare Krishna. Nice to see. He was submitting. And then this Kuvera spoke to him. He addressed him as a sinless Kshatriya. And Prabhupada explains here because Dhruva might think I'm sinful because I killed so many living entities now, and actually that's very sinful. But he said, no, you're sinless. Firstly, it was your duty. And then the other point, which is difficult to understand actually, he said, actually you did not kill anyone. And your brother was not killed even. And the yakshas were not killing anyone. It is all done by time. It was all done by time. So does that mean nothing counts? It doesn't matter what we do, even killing would be, it's just time, It's just karmic reactions and I have nothing to do with it. No, that's not the case either, of course. We are guiding agents in this world. So we are guided by time. Okay, we are guided by time. And we are guided by material nature, but still we have a free will. This doesn't mean that we can do whatever we like and there's no reaction. But Kuvera firstly saw it was his duty to fight, he could understand that. And the other point was he wanted to stress this point that in the end there is also a transcendental factor involved. And time is Kṛṣṇa himself. Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad Gita that he's the time. So time is the direct moving factor of transcendence in the material world, so to say. Yeah, Kṛṣṇa moves matter to the time factor. Yeah. So in that sense, it's true, everything is done by Kṛṣṇa, which doesn't mean that we are not doing anything, or that we're not responsible, or that there are no reactions. But he just wanted to bring the discussion on a higher level, which does not excuse any activity. So this transcendental vision is important, that we understand time, that we understand eternal time, right? Eternity, and understand our material situation in this world, and that we are really under the influence of time. We are all under the influence of time, which cannot be stopped. Wasn't it Chanakya Pandit who said you can not buy back any moment in life? You cannot buy back time, right? This is something we can not at all control. Yeah, many things we cannot control, but time in particular. You cannot stop it. And when we are young, we don't recognize it so much. Actually, we don't recognize so much. The older we get, the more we recognize time. And because we see we're getting older, time is progressing. We miss the old things. It's also interesting when you look back in time, many things become very beautiful. There's a psychological effect on us. It's called nostalgia. I mean, everything. Oh, it was so nice. In the past, everything was much better. Everything was much better than now. Yeah, even though it was not same, situation, but somehow or other, when you look back in time, it gives you such a nice feeling how it was at that time. Oh, can you remember? Oh, it was so beautiful and this and that. Yeah. So looking back in time, and it means also we kind of wish times back. Yeah. We don't want to see all the changes. Yeah. We don't want to see all the changes. We don't want to see things passing away. We want to have a stable situation. But a stable situation will never be there. Everything will run out. Everything will pass. All things must pass. Right? Very famous person said that. No? All things must pass. George Harrison had a whole album called All Things Must Pass. Very wise. So very good meditation that everything has to pass. Everything will go away. So we should not get attached, because we will suffer. When we want to keep everything, you have to suffer because it will go away. And now, especially when in relation to my son, there you can see time flying, because in that time the human is changing so much, right? Later on it slows down, but at that time it just goes so fast. No? From a baby to now he's 2 years old, and this is like already so much happened, So such big developments, yeah. And in the past, when I was visiting my father, he was always, when I was visiting my father, and he was looking at me and said, "Oh, this is not possible. How is this possible now? So old. you were such a small boy, and now you're so old. Or you're already 40. You're already 40 this and that. It's like he becomes nostalgic, no? Because he sees me in a different way. Huh? So I will say the same, when my son is then, 30 or something. Let's see if I experience that, the disadvantage of having late children. No? How much will I, be with him when he gets older? But the same will be there. So yeah, time is changing everything. Time is changing everything. The world is not just humans, the world is changing in an incredible way. An incredible way. Just in our history, the world changed so much. Like 50 years ago, the world was completely different. Now it's many of us, they grew up without internet. Kishori Kund. There was no internet in your childhood. Imagine no internet, a world without internet. Something terrible, something wonderful. But this is the relative world. Better, worse. It was not better in the past because there was no internet. Some things were better, some things were worse. Right? Like, of course, everything has pros and cons. Yeah? And the mentality of people was different. And is this just 50 years? What about 100 years? 1,000 years? 10,000 years? And that's when we hear that in the Vedic scriptures there were different ages, not just different times, different ages, with complete different qualities. There are 4 yugas. We cannot even imagine how it must have been in Dvapara Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga since 5,000 years. And in this 5,000 years, so much happened. So much change was there already. How must it have been in Dvapara Yuga? How must it have been in Satya Yuga? Can't you even imagine? It said people in Satya Yuga were all fully enlightened. Paramahamsas, they were called Paramahamsas. They were so wise and they lived long time. They lived for 100,000 years. And they were very big also. They were really big. How is this possible, right? So this is all the flexibility of this material world. There's so much variety, it can take on so many shapes and forms. And by the end of Kali Yuga, people will be very small. We become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And also more ugly. Become more ugly. They will not look terrible like in the Lord of the Rings, like these people, these goblins or how they call it, no? They will look like this. Exactly. Yeah. And terrible. And in Satya Yuga they were big and beautiful and all that. And then there are other dimensions and other worlds and heavenly planets and all that. There are even worlds where there live only snakes, human snakes. Said human snakes. They're called Nagas. They live in the lower planetary systems. Most of these lower realms, they are inhabited by these Nagas. They are like mixed between a snake and a human. Very weird. Very weird. But some are also beautiful. Like Arjuna, he was married to one Naga princess. She was called Ulupi. And he had a son with her. His name was Iravan. He was a very powerful Kshatriya. So he was a Naga. He was not human. Huh? He was fighting even in the battle of Kurukshetra. Iravan. And he was killed then by another Naga. Wasn't it? He was killed by the son of Kṛṣṇa. Or who? There was another Kshatriya who had also a Naga son. And they were fighting then. Very interesting. So yeah, there are so many varieties and there are so many changes. And now we are in this particular situation. And we perceive the world and our life in a certain way. But you should understand that everything is temporary. Everything will change. Yeah. So if these big changes are there, in our life, there are small changes or let's say big things for us which are like irrelevant for the world. Like I was many years a monk. I lived in a different way. Now I'm a householder, completely different. No? But the universe doesn't care. For me it was a big thing. Oh, shall I marry or not? And okay, I will do this. And huge life-changing thing, you know. Big thing in my world. Yeah? But we think always it's very important what we do and how it develops, you know. Now, of course, through social media we can let the world know. Everyone posts all his, amazing things which happen and let the world know how amazing his life is or this and that. No? But time will, destroy anything and will destroy even the remembrance. Rarely someone survives time, meaning someone who is like famous now, who might be even famous now, might not be famous in like 100 or 500 or 1,000 years. Rare, there's a very rare. There are a couple of people who are still famous, Maybe like Alexander the Great, even, or Chanakya Pandit, they still talk about him. No? But some people who were like famous at that in their time and really, really important, nobody knows them anymore. Nobody knows them anymore. No? No, but at that time, in their time, they were very famous and very important even. So the time will takes away everything, makes everything irrelevant, destroys everything. Yeah. Temporary nature of this world. Yeah. Yeah, and then in the end, the death comes, and then everything is finished anyway. Everything was what is important and relevant now. Will be, it's a big cut. It's the end. Say goodbye. Will not come back. See you not later. Normally you say, no, auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. It's greeting they have in German, Auf Wiedersehen. In English it's like, goodbye. They just say goodbye. But what means bye? Actually, bye. I don't know what means bye. Goodbye. What is a bad bye? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it means. But in German you say the same. It's like auf Wiedersehen means see you later. Yeah, see you later. Simply like that. See you later. Yeah. Of course, in German they have also ridiculous greetings like tschüss. What does that mean, Where does it come? Must have some reason. In Austria they say a lot servus. And Bavaria also, servus. Actually this comes from Latin, it means servant. Servus is actually Latin, means servant. Anyway, when death comes, I say I say not auf Wiedersehen, that's it, Tragic. Oh no, don't leave us, don't go. Children cry, the wife cries, everyone cries at the deathbed. You breathe your last breath. And then the soul leaves the body, it's gone. And the body, which was the relative, will decease, will dissolve. It's gone. Now he's gone. It's over. Yeah. But as it said, he's gone. He's still there somewhere. He's not here, but somewhere else. But this life is over. Yeah. So this main teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, this was one of the reasons he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to lose everyone. It was a terrible thought. He was so depressed by the thought of losing all his friends. Like, if I think now about, anyway, I don't want to speak. If I lose you now, all of, something terrible happens, all gone, terrible. I'm alone now. No. So he didn't want to fight. But then Krishna spoke the similar things what we hear here, but the eternity of the soul. Of course, it's sad. Yeah, it's sad if you're in a material consciousness, it's sad. But if you're in a spiritual consciousness and understand, as here, Kuvera says, that anyway everyone will die, and it's the karma, some sooner, some later, and we shouldn't be so hung up with this material situation. But we are so hung up with this material situation to bring us to a transcendental vision. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And the more relationships and strong relationships you have, the more difficult it is. That's why it's said sannyasis are in an advantage. Because a sannyasi, like a monk, should renounce all that. He's done with the relationships. Like with the bodily relationships. He has relationships, as we know. Sannyasis have relationships. But not bodily relationships, but spiritual. But bodily relationships, in that sense, difficult because they're very fragile. Yeah. So renunciation is very important. Yeah, this renunciation and this spiritual vision. Bhagavad Gita teaches us this spiritual vision, this view of eternity. But it's very difficult. So in many situations in the Bhagavatam, when a great sage comes to a king, the king very often says, "Oh, it's wonderful that you're here because I am a householder, a materialist. I'm completely engrossed in material life. And please give me some guidance, some spiritual vision." And when I read that in the past, I always thought, why is he speaking like that? He knows anyway anything. He's a wise king. But now I understand because it's a difference between just reading it and knowing it, but and realizing it. To really realize it, and that detachment which goes along with that. It's a complete different thing. So yeah, we want this spiritual vision, Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Well, it's very difficult. So Kuvera wants to bring Dhruva to this consciousness of eternity, understanding all that, becoming enlightened in this knowledge, become free from this entanglement, from this worries, and wants to pacify him. He wants to pacify him. Yes, okay. Any questions so far? Yes?
Yes, we hear all the time that about time, we only have this present moment. Thank you. We hear all the time that we only have the present moment because past is already gone and the future is not. So how can we do not also neglect the future and still be able to plan a little bit the future, but knowing that it doesn't exist? Could you please?
What? What doesn't exist?
That future doesn't exist, but the only time is now, so to speak. And how can we live now and also do not neglect our plans for future?
So, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that, what was it? The past is how does he say it? Anyway, the past is gone. We don't have any control over that anymore, and the future is about to come. So, and the moment is most important. But still, we should live the moment in a way that the future moment, the future which will become the moment, is also helpful for our development. So we don't forget the future. Of course, we have to plan, we have to do things. So, but we shouldn't be like, of course, difficult. But we might have plans and good ideas, but we shouldn't be too attached that it has to be like that, because we never know how it comes in the end. And 1 second, because there was one thing. Maybe I can find this quickly. No. Oh yeah, this was it. I want to read you something. One second. Yeah, we shouldn't be attached that it has to be like that. We try our best. It's always like this. This formula that we should act in a way that we think we can control it, but in the end we should be detached and know that Krishna will fulfill it or not. This is our predicament. 1 second. Where is it? Give it to me. Where are you? Okay. I'll read you a short poem by Shelley, a British poet. It's a short poem. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a scattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, your mighty and despair, nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away." Hard to understand. But there was a traveler who went through an antique land. And then it was like in a desert. And there was nothing but sand. And then he found a statue, a big statue, which was already broken, and the head was a little bit far away, and was a statue of an ancient king. His name was Ozymandias. And on the statue there were written these words of this king, who said, where it said that, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works. Like, look what I have done as a king. Look at my whole empire. Look at all the cities and the people and the riches, and everyone abides by my commands. I'm so powerful. King of Kings," right? King of Kings, he called himself. So look on my works, ye mighty, these great works, and despair, and kind of, become afraid of this, And then, but this poem goes, nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sand stretched far away. Meaning, the only thing that remained was this broken statue of this king, who once was so powerful that he ruled over the whole land, which was developed, and cities were there, and people were there, and everything was there, and he was on the throne, and everyone was, worshipping him. But it's all gone. It's all gone, and he was very powerful, but it's all gone. And nothing remains. He said, nothing remains, just the sand around, Meaning how ridiculous this king was actually to think himself so great. He was great for some short moment in time, but nothing remains. It's a very nice, you have to read a couple of times. It's also in English. It's maybe difficult, but it has a very nice point, Very nice point. It's there, by Shelley, Ozymandias. So, nothing remains. Nothing remains. Everything will go away. But for us, that shouldn't be a sad news, actually. Actually, it's a good news. Because material life is anyway not that great. It's anyway not that great. And there's a great alternative. There's a great chance. And this is the spirituality. So we should use our life to go to Kṛṣṇa. And to go to Kṛṣṇa means when you go to Kṛṣṇa, you will live with Kṛṣṇa. That should be our spiritual planning. You spoke about material planning, this and that. Yeah, do whatever, what's necessary. But actually our real planning should be to go to Kṛṣṇa. And to go to Kṛṣṇa means we will live with Kṛṣṇa. Like we live here together in this village with our friends, you live with Kṛṣṇa. And we should now start living with Kṛṣṇa already. It's like some of you are not from Germany and you want to stay here. You have to do some migration tests. And you have to learn something about the country and the laws and the history, and they will test you. They will test you. Have you really understood? I don't know how difficult these tests are nowadays, but all the countries, they have some migration tests. And there is also a migration test to the spiritual world. We cannot go there with no understanding and no culture, actually. So this is actually what we do now in a spiritual way. Of course, yesterday I spoke about basic things, but in the end, it's really Krishna consciousness is a transformational process where we become devotees of Krishna. And this is not undefined, because the devotees of Krishna are described in Shastra, devotees in Vrindavan. So those are devotees of Krishna, so we want to become like them. So there's a very nice, do we have a Krishna book here? In English maybe even? Yeah, okay. I want to show you one very nice passage I found recently. Yeah. Internet is quite okay here. So it was in this chapter. 1 second. Here, I found it. It's in the chapter, what was it now? 46 in Krishna book. Uddhava visits Vrindavan. And there Prabhupada goes into a discussion of, has Krishna left Vrindavan or not? And explains that Krishna left Vrindavan but stayed in his bhava form. In his bhava form. And Prabhupada explains what that means. Since Krishna had departed from Vrindavan and gone to Mathura, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Srimati Radharani, the gopis, and the cowherd boys, were simply thinking of Krishna at every step. Okay, so Krishna went to Vrindavan, to Mathura, and then to Dwarka. He was not there anymore. But since then, all these devotees were thinking about Krishna at every step. All the time, they were thinking about him. All the time. They were not forgetting him, or it's okay, now it's gone and we do something else. They were thinking about him all the time. And Prabhupada gives a practical example. They were thinking, here was Krishna playing in this way. Here Krishna was blowing his flute. Krishna was joking with us in this way, and Krishna was embracing us like that. So this is Vrindavan, because this is where Krishna played, where Krishna lived with the devotees, and they remembered, wherever they went, they remembered, oh, we have done this here with him, and there he played the flute, and he was running around, and he was climbing this tree, and here we were doing this. They were completely Krishna conscious. It's amazing. They were completely remembering all what they experienced with him, and were very, very happy. Actually happy. Yeah, of course they were missing him. And then Prabhupada says, this is called Lila Smarana. And it is the process of association with Krishna, most recommended by great devotees. It's called Lila Smarana, to remember Krishna's pastimes. And this is the process recommended by devotees, great devotees. So we cannot do that. Why can we not do that? Because we don't know nothing. But the more you know, the more you can do that and should do that. Always think about Krishna. Krishna says, always think about me. His name, his form, pastimes. Right? So, even Lord Chaitanya, when he was at Puri, enjoyed Lila Smarana. He enjoyed Lila Smarana. Association with Krishna. Those in the most exalted position of devotional service and ecstasy can live with Krishna always by remembering his pastimes. Prabhupada says they live with Krishna. Through this meditation on Krishna, you live with Krishna. And when we learn to live with Krishna in this way, we will go to Krishna because we become qualified. Yeah? It's very interesting. Yeah? And very important, before we go to Krishna in the spiritual world, Prabhupada says this, the Acharyas explain, we will get born in a Bhauma Lila, where Krishna is in the material world. There's no directly going to Krishna after this life, from this existence to the Nitya Lila in the spiritual world. No. First to a Bhauma Lila, where Krishna, you will get born, more or less, or appear as an associate of Krishna. So, from the, so to say, aspiration of becoming a devotee to the spiritual body, there's this stage to manifest you as in your spiritual body, where you really live then with Krishna. And from there to the Nitya Lila. So more or less this is our trying to get into such a Bhauma Lila. And if not, we get born in this material world again in a situation where we continue our devotional development. So we have to see how far we can go after, in this life, right? We have to see. Then Prabhupada says, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a transcendent literature entitled Krishna Bhavanamrita, which is full with Krishna's pastimes. Exalted devotees can remain absorbed in Krishna thought by reading such books. So Prabhupada gives now a very practical point, because we might think, okay, how to meditate about this? It's not a forced meditation. This meditation will come naturally, and there it's not forced. It's not like, imagination. But like the devotees in Vrindavan, they live with Krishna, and now it's not remembrance in the form of like meditation. It's just remember what they experienced with Krishna. And the same thing we can do when we read about their encounter with Krishna, and then we also remember that in this way. And this remembrance will get more and more clear and stronger and more saturated with rasa. But Prabhupada quotes here or mentions here a book which is by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which is called Kṛṣṇa-Bhavanamrita, Kṛṣṇa-Bhavanamrita Mahakavya. And this book it's a Ashtakaliya Leela. It explains Krishna Leela, a day of Krishna, so to say. It's like one day of Krishna, one day in the life of Krishna. And in great detail. Many, many details are there which help us to remember Krishna. And when a devotee is more absorbed, really absorbed in such reading and study, this remembrance will, reflect in his consciousness. And then he remembers all these pastimes. And Prabhupada says here further, exalted devotees can remain absorbed in Krishna thought by reading such books. Any book of Krishna Leela, even this book, Krishna, or our teachings of Lord Chaitanya, is actually solace for devotees feeling separation from Krishna. Very nice. So Krishna book, teaching of Lord Chaitanya, any book on Krishna Leela. But Prabhupada mentions especially here Kṛṣṇa-Bhavanamrita. Very interesting that he mentions this text by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as being very, very helpful for devotees feeling solace, feeling separation from Krishna, and to solace that. So that's the point here, separation. As long as we don't feel separation from Krishna, it doesn't work so well. So we should start feeling slightly bit and more separation from Krishna. Yeah, so to really think, I would really like to serve Krishna in the spiritual world, more and more and more. And then this study and reading becomes more real. Yeah. So this should be our future planning. How can I become a pure devotee? How can I become pure? How can I transform myself from thinking that being the body, being a man, or being a brahmachari, being a householder, being a child or adult or this and that, to understand, no, I'm just a pure servant of Krishna. This is who I am, and I want to realize that. Right? And then when a devotee becomes more interested in that, of course he wants to hear about these devotees, and especially about Krishna and Vrindavan, because this is where I want to go. Yeah, so it has to become a desire of our own. I really want to be a devotee of Krishna, like them. Right? And this is then also connected with sincerity and humility and determination. Becomes this project. This is our future planning. The other, of course, we have to see how materially we come around, but in the end, this is what counts. And it's very, very helpful. Yeah, Krishna book. Prabhupada says, Krishna book, alone the Krishna book can give you love of God. In the introduction and in the foreword, he says. Alone the Krishna, if you read this book, Krishna book, you can develop love of God. Do you know that? Does everyone know that? No? You have to read Krishna book. Yeah? Right? You read Krishna book, get love of God at all. Because Krishna is there, inside. And how can you not love Krishna? Like people in this material world easily love other people. To fall in love is very easy. It's very easy. Yeah? So, why? Because this girl is beautiful. It's cute. Is, fitting to you. It's very, very easy to fall in love. Those who are married and in a relationship, it's not difficult. Prabhupada explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. It's very natural for a boy and a girl to be attracted to each other and to fall in love. It's very, very easy. Nothing. You don't have to explain, okay, now you fall in love. How you do that? You feel like this, you look like this. It happens automatically. Why? Because you like this person. From physical appearance, from his personality, and you fall in love. Just has to fit a bit. Doesn't even have to fit perfectly. Sometimes people fall in love with matches where they think this really does not fit. But anyway, it works, Yeah. So, but Krishna is so much more beautiful, and perfect person, how can you not fall in love with him? We don't fall in love with him because we are not together with him. You will not fall in love with this most beautiful, wonderful girl if you don't know her. If you don't know her, you haven't seen her, you will not meet her, you cannot fall in love with her, of course. Yeah? But even if a friend tells you, oh, my dear friend, I saw this girl, I know her, like my relative, whatever, I think she fits perfectly to you. Yeah? And she is this and that, and you might feel already attraction. Just hearing about that. What to speak about meeting and talking with each other. Yeah? So we start hearing about Kṛṣṇa. And it takes some time because it has to get through our core heart. But when it gets through, the more you understand, oh, Kṛṣṇa is a person, he's like this, he's like that, and we keep on hearing and meditating, then naturally a devotee develops more and more these sentiments. So, this is a simple process. But it needs this association, right? It needs this contact. Hearing about Kṛṣṇa. That's why hearing about Kṛṣṇa is so important. This is why Prabhu mentions this book, Kṛṣṇa Bhavanamrita. Because it gives you so many details. But first we read Kṛṣṇa book extensively, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Cannot stop reading Kṛṣṇa book. And then naturally can read also more other texts which give you more detail. But then you can understand it. Yeah. So yeah, this is wonderful. Kṛṣṇa, because Kṛṣṇa is wonderful. There's even a chapter in Bhagavad Kṛṣṇa book. Wonderful Kṛṣṇa. Wonderful Kṛṣṇa. Okay? So this is our future. And this is actually amazing because we are so fallen, so far away from Kṛṣṇa. This is all Prabhupada's mercy. And the mercy of our parampara, where Mahaprabhu distributes freely love of Kṛṣṇa. This is so amazing that we in Kali Yuga get this opportunity. We should use that. In other ages or times, of course, Narayan is there, Vishnu is there, but understand that there's also Kṛṣṇa, Vrindavan. This is such an amazing thing. It's so private, actually. It's so private. And we get entrance to that. Can understand Srimati Radharani, like Krishna's most precious. So how is this possible? So we should really grab that chance, use that chance. And if we don't have all this understanding and interest, do it. Fight for it. Get it. It says the most wonderful experience that Jiva can have is to experience and see the pastime of Radha Krishna. This is like the highest wonderful opportunity. And if you don't understand it, you have no interest, then get into association with devotees, read books, inform yourself, pray for the taste and understanding. This is what Mahaprabhu gave us. Right? Always give this example. Imagine there's someone knocking your door, your friend at your birthday, and you open the door and he has a big cake, big, nice cake. It's great, with so many layers of cream and this and that. Oh, I made this for you. And you just, slam the door or throw the cake away. I don't want that, So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Krishna came and gave us the holy name. He knocked on our door. Please take the holy name. And we are like that, We say, I don't want that. Okay, I do it now because I'm initiated 16 rounds. I have to chant. That's about it, But I don't want to condemn anyone. That's normal. I am like that too. And we have our times. But in general, we are not so fired up. And this is the difference between a devotee who is advanced and those who is not advanced. Yes. Yeah, okay. I think he means it's time for fighting now. Time is over, yeah. Okay, with this I end, yeah? So this is the difference between a devotee who's advanced and who's not advanced. No? Devotee who's advanced, he's very eager and serious. Okay? Thank you. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Suchando means it's time for breakfast. Stop talking. Huh? He's doing Kshatriya? machen wir den anderen.